Well, first of all, thank you so much for joining me, Evita Robinson. And this is the NOMADNESS Travel Tribe. And you're holding your annual festival here in Louisville coming up very soon. But I wanted to ask you, what is NOMADNESS Travel Tribe for people who are listening and watching and don't know what that is?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So we are an international travel community of just over 34,000 travelers of color and our allies. And essentially it was started 12 years ago, September of 2011. I am a former backpacker, a three-time expat, having lived in various places around the world. And in September of 2011, I was like, I need to create a community of people that live like me, understand the value of travel and understand how it can change your life, even just one international trip. And so I started the group with 100 people in September of that year. And now over the last 12 years, we have ballooned to our membership of 34,000. We do everything from international and domestic group trips. We have partnerships with different tourism boards, like Louisville Tourism has been a great partner the last number of years, in which we do events both in their cities and also in their feeder cities around the country. And as you mentioned, our biggest annual event that we do every year is coming up soon in your city, and that is NOMADNESS Fest. And what it is it's a time in which the tourism industry has one event that really puts the stories, the resources, the influencers, the community leaders that are in the tourism industry, but of color, in the forefront, and really amplifies our voices, our stories, and our needs when it comes to tourism. So this is going to be our fourth iteration. We've done Oakland, California. We've done Memphis. We took a 3-year hiatus and executed 6 of these digitally during COVID. So we were still quite busy. And then we resurrected last September in Newark, New Jersey, where I live. And now this year, we're going to be in Louisville, Kentucky.
Well, welcome. We're so excited you all are coming. And I know Louisville Tourism has been a great partner, but why Louisville? Just out of curiosity.
So there's a couple reasons why we pick certain locations. One of the things that we honor with our locations are destinations that have a relationship with their Black community, right? That's something that's really important to us. So I don't think a lot of people in the city know this, but a number of years ago, Louisville Tourism created BTAC, their Black Travel Advisory Council, with a number of movers and shakers in the Louisville area. And they have been such a great asset for us in marketing and planning, giving us ideas for itineraries throughout the course of the week that we'll be there. And you could tell that Louisville Tourism is putting not just their money, but also their assets and their resources where their mouth is when it comes to, their communities of color in the city. So that's one of the first things that we look at for different destinations. And some of the previous ones that I mentioned, we also look for cities that may be overshadowed by their bigger counterparts. So, for example, us choosing Oakland over Los Angeles, or choosing Memphis over Nashville, choosing Newark, New Jersey over New York City, which you can literally see from the venue. There's something about places that are just as deserving, but many times overlooked by the general public because they are so associated with their larger sister and brother cities. And so we also take a moment to look at that as an aspect as well in picking places.
Now, tell me, you've got a big group that comes here. So you bring folks in. I'm assuming they come as part of NOMADNESS, but can folks who live here activate as well? And tell us how we do that and what that looks like.
Yeah, so it is open to everyone. I mean, our demographic is who we serve, and we welcome all allies that want to come in, that understand that when you walk into the footprint, you're a student of our experience, right? And so we welcome everybody to be able to come in. They can go to nomadnessfest.com and get tickets, whether it's for the weekend or the day of. But the programming is really awesome. We have programming that's going to run from panels in 2 different speaking stages. Our main footprint with the vendors and our food trucks and all the cool festival stuff is going to be outside at Belvedere. And then we have a second stage that's inside at the Muhammad Ali Center using their auditorium. So we're going to be kind of shuttling between these 2 spaces throughout the course of the day. And definitely all are welcome. I think for us, we just make it a point to rise to the occasion in making sure that we're bringing as many people from kind of like outside in that 250-mile radius around Louisville as possible, because we want to have new people see our cities. Like, I was just thinking about this. A big part of our marketing recently has been doing Instagram lives with our speakers. And we've got some amazing folks, influencers coming into town. None of them have been to Louisville.
Wow.
Every single live that we have done, it's one of the questions that I ask. None of them have been to this city. And so to me, that means that NOMADNESS is doing our job, right? Like we're bringing folks in so that they can experience in depth, this view of the city and, hopefully be able to bring themselves back of their own accord with family and friends and other, some of them are travel suppliers. So they do group trips and, obviously you all have Derby. You've got some really cool big
A lot
stuff
of bourbon.
happening, you know what I'm saying? And bourbon. Those are your things. But there's so much, I think, also to the city now, me having been there a number of times for planning, and we have very deep relationships now with many of your business owners there planning this. So we're just excited that we're bringing this many people into the city.
Oh, we
And we
love
hope
it.
that that number mixes with the folks that are there. Like we really do encourage the public to come out. So don't think this is just a NOMADNESS thing. We're the brand that hosts it. But if having more diverse conversations about tourism, about the city of Louisville, but about traveling the world, like our panels run from, if you are somebody who needs help with branding your business, we have a panel for branding your business. And it's a snapshot with the designer in the first half. And then the second half is an agency rep that tells you what they put money towards in hiring different types of influencers and bloggers and writers. So we have 3 tracks: the business of travel, leisure travel, and conscious travel. Conscious travel is really, really big and a big part of our theme this year, because I've been doing a lot of work also in not just Black, but also Indigenous communities across the country. Spent 2 weeks last year in Alaska, only interviewing Indigenous and Black Alaskans about their story. And so we are very mindful at NOMADNESS going forward on like, whose land are we on? Also, when we travel, what impacts are we having, on the local land and the native people that are there? We're having conversations around social media and the idea of over tourism, because now social media is great, but there's a pro and a con to everything. A lot of our major monuments and landmarks and world wonders around the world are going through infrastructural changes because people want to take pretty pictures on Instagram,
Right.
so,
We've
they're
seen
mad.
those stories. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have, a panel on wellness travel for communities of color and what that looks like. We even have a representative on that panel of Black Naturalists, which is a Black nudist group trip or like they organization, which is really cool because you don't have that conversation in general, let alone like in our space, right? So there's a little bit there for
I was going to
everything.
say
If
something for everyone.
yeah. If you're a tourism professional, we have, Cleo Battle, the CEO of Louisville Tourism, is going to be sitting on a really important panel with Gathan, who's a senior vice president at Destinations International. We've got a number of people on that panel, and they're going to be talking about the state of DEI and tourism. And, we all did the Black Squares, during COVID and after George Floyd, but now it's like, where are we? What are we doing? Are people really, again, Louisville being an example, I feel, of a destination that is still walking the talk,
And is it welcoming and all of those things? I was curious. So you're the founder of this. What made you decide to, first of all, I loved your answer that I read on why you traveled. So tell us that, because your answer I thought was just extraordinary.
I don't remember. I've done a lot of interviews
You
in
said
the last 12 years,
freedom.
but I will say freedom. I was going to say that's usually my go-to.
I love that, but explain that.
Yeah. So I'll be honest with you. I think my life mission is freedom. And the reason why I say that is because that is how you were exposed to everything. And freedom looks like a lot of different things for folks. For me, I'm talking about freedom of movement, going around, freedom of conversation, financial freedom, being able to pick up and go if I needed to without having to worry about it, freedom of thought, right? Freedom of discourse with people, freedom of choosing the people that you have around you. There is something that travel gifts all of us if we do it correctly, I feel. And I think it's the gift of freedom. A lot of times when you have only the viewpoint of your immediate area, there's so much of the world that you are missing out on. There's so many points of view that you're missing out on. And you would think that, travel is one of those things that breaks you out of that box, and really expands the mind. And then you come back a better, more well-rounded person. And so for me, it's always breaking constantly. One of my business coaches says, break the bottle. There's always a bigger bottle. Keep breaking the bottle. It's like I've made it a point in my life's work to keep breaking the bottle, keep thinking bigger, keep going to new places and allowing it to teach me and, leaving a bit of myself everywhere that I go. And so to me, the ultimate gift that I feel like I can have and give in this lifetime really is that of storytelling and that of freedom.
And I love that because really I don't think you came from a family of travelers, right? This
No,
was, I
not
mean,
at all.
and that's what I thought was so, because that was really kind of out of the comfort zone and what you're doing to make sure everybody is represented and how important that is to you.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the fact that I don't come from a family that travels as much as I do anywhere near it, I think that's why I was so pushed to create community. I think if I found that within my home life, maybe I wouldn't have been pushed to create a movement, you know? And even when I started No Madness, I didn't know it was a movement. It started with 100 people. I was none the wiser. I tell people all the time, I'm like, No Madness could have stayed 100 people and I would have been like, okay, I'm going to keep my freelancing day job in TV and keep going with my life. I had no idea, no plan in regards to realizing that it was going to resonate with tens of
Yeah.
thousands of people all around the
How
world.
many now are in it? I mean,
34,000.
that's wild. I
Yeah.
mean, so this is full time then. This is,
Yeah, it
wow.
has been since I started it. I pulled the full jump and was like, listen, I can get back into the rat race if I want to, or I can give some breathing room to this new entity that I've created and see what it's about, be curious about it, you know? And so I ended up being curious about Nomadness. And, you know, that's kind of what took off overnight. I became an entrepreneur.
Amazing. Tell us what the gratification is that you've gotten from it and what others are telling you that they've gotten from it by being part of this.
Oh gosh, we're a family. I mean, we deal with community, so we're dealing with people. We've had No Madness members get married. We've had them get pregnant and have tribe babies. We've had them start businesses with one another. We've had them create now, you know, decades long friendships. So we function like an external community would. It's just that the web that weaves us is travel, right? And so those are the gratifications. I also love the moments where No Madness is big on traveling to places that other folks aren't going first. So I remember like India is one of my favorite places, and I had been backpacking there for a couple years before I brought No Madness. And being like the only Black Americans that we saw in Jaipur, India, and then 3 years later running into other Black travel groups at the Taj Mahal. Like I've been in the game so long, I have a clear like split screen of what it looked like before when No Madness just started versus what it looks like now in a lot of these more remote places. Like we were going to Bali before Bali became a haven for expats and digital nomads, right? We were going to Johannesburg when they were still talking about Johannesburg like the Wild Wild West. And now all of a sudden it's like Afropunk was there, Global Citizens, Beyonce's there. And it's like, it's so interesting to see the perception of a place, right? Here are the perception of a place, actually go there, not be scared to go there first, and also get to know the people, get to build those relationships, keep bringing people back, and then to see the place kind of like blow up as a destination a couple of years later. So
And
I
you
think
do.
one of Nomadis's knacks is that we're also very much ahead of the curve.
I love that. I love that. So tell us where people can go. What's your website, where people can go to learn about everything that's going to be happening in Louisville?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you go to on social media, particularly Instagram, at No Madness Tribe and also at No Madness Fest is where all of the festival information is happening. You can go to nomadnessfest.com. It's got everything from our hotel partnerships, because our first hotel sold out, hotel partnerships, to travel, any travel insights that you need, to our speaker lineup and our schedule for the weekend. The festival itself is on Saturday, September 30th, but we have, for people who get VIP weekend tickets, we've got a cool VIP mixer happening at Evan Williams Speakeasy on Friday night that I recommend people go to for sure. And then we have our tribe barbecue that's going to be done at Chrissy's Garden at Paris Town on Sunday, October 1st. That would also give you access to that event right there on the lawn. So consider it if you're local. We also have a ton of discount codes that are around. So I can absolutely provide you for one. One I can think of off the top of my head is for our lives. It's We Live, WELIVE, and it gets you 30% off any of those weekend tickets. So yeah, there's a bunch. I can supply some more.
Well, no, that's perfect. And thank you so much. And we can't wait to see you in Louisville. And I'm so glad that Louisville is one of your cities of choice. That means a lot.
Yes, definitely. I want to just really give a huge shout out to the tourism board. just to everybody, Rose, Nicole, Chandra, Jessica, like just Cleo, everybody, Brad has helped so much. I'm like, did I hit everybody? They're just a team that has been absolutely dynamic and amazing with helping us put this together. To the local vendors, we're working really close with Millennium Events right now. So shout out to Jason and BJ at Millennium, like making sure that this thing looks like what we see in our heads. And, you know, we're really excited. The Muhammad Ali Center, Belvedere, everybody's been amazing to work with. And we're excited to just, you know, just rock out in a couple weekends.
We can't wait to see you. Thank you so much.
No problem.